And Kristen said, my stuckness is around whether or I'm healed enough around the topic to support others or not. It's a great question. There's an immense amount of integrity in that kind of a question. Like, am I actually ready for this? So a few things that can help on this, just immediately. One, just make sure you don't promise more than you can offer. That's the first thing, right? Because we tend to think like, okay, they're on island A, they want to be on island B, where they're completely healed of whatever the thing is. But when you really sit with you, like, I can't get them all the way there. I am not able to get them quite to island B. It's okay. There's other islands. It's not just a two-island world. There's island A1, A2, A3, you know. So you just start thinking, how far could I get them? Like, where do I feel confident I could get them? And that's all you promise. You just don't promise more. And if somebody's like, oh, but can you help cure my diabetes? I can't. Can you cure my cancer? I wish I could, but no. Can you have my shame vanish permanently? Wish I could. Can you help me cure the trauma from the assault from my childhood? No. But here's what I can do. Here's where we can get it. We can get it where it doesn't debilitate you anymore. We can get it where you're not having panic attacks every day. We can get it where you can actually go into social situations. That we can do. That's easy. No problem. We can get you there. Like I'll hit home runs on that all day. I just can't go for it. So that's the first thing, is really clarifying, what can you promise? What can you offer? Where can you get people? Number two, it's good to remember that we actually don't have to ever even provide the answer or the result for people. Raise your hand if you know what open space technology is, that phrase. Okay, there was a book written by a guy named Owen Harrison called Open Space Technology. And he ran a conference. This was 40 years ago or something. Cost about $100,000 at that time to put on a conference. A big expensive conference. And in the feedback forms at the end, what were your favorite parts of the conference? Any guesses what the highest rated part of the conference was? Think about conferences you've been to in the past. What type of thing in the conference do you think would have been this was worth the most money? I'm curious. In the chat, what do you think? What would you guess? There's keynotes, there's plenary sessions. Yeah, there you go. Networking, food, networking, social exchange, bingo. Coffee breaks. That's what people said. That was their favorite part of the conference. You can imagine how he felt, having spent all this money and all this time putting together this mad agenda, to have people tell him that the best part of the conference was the only part he had nothing to do with. So partly out of bitterness and partly out of, learning and curiosity, he did another conference that he spent almost no money on. There was no agenda when people showed up at all, but it was based on a question that was relevant, that was a hot topic at the time. And when people arrived, he said, so yeah, here's what we're going to do. We got this wall here, and on this wall, you'll see in the columns, we've got all the rooms and spaces that we have access to. And the rows, like it was like a spreadsheet with just masking tape on the wall. We got times. So yeah, what do you want to talk about? And people got markers and pieces of paper, and they wrote down the topics they wanted to meet and discuss and the conversations they wanted to have. And they said, great, go put them on or he said, first everyone shared them. And people were like, oh, wait, we want to talk about the same thing. Okay, let's partner up. So people started collaborating and getting in little groups like, okay, this is all basically the same conversation. Great. They said, great, now go put them up on the wall and schedule yourselves in. And then they worked it out as a group. It's like, wait, no, you can't put that there. I want to go to your session. Can you move that? Right. And people just negotiated it. And then he said there were four laws or something. But it was like, one of them was the law of 2 feet. And say, if you don't like the session, you got 2 feet, leave. Go to another session. You're not trapped anywhere. And people said it was the best conference they'd ever been to. Why? Because people were actually having the conversations they wanted to have. Anyways, the point is, he did not show up to that conference with like, and I have the answers to solve this problem for you all. I have the final answer to this question. He had no answers at all. He just had a question that he knew was a hot topic. So that's just good to think about business model wise. You don't have to have the answer. You could create a podcast just exploring the question and sharing your journey of exploring this question. You could have a blog or a Substack where that's what you do. You could host conversations where you bring people together to talk about it and you don't offer any fixes or solution, that's a business model. You can have a whole business where, because what we think, let me share this with you. Oh God, how am I going to share this? It's an article on my membership. Okay, well, I'm going to do a screen share and then maybe I'll send it to Vanessa here. Okay, so I'll do a screen share so you can see this. This is an important thing, right? When we think, am I healed enough to do it? I mean, part of the healed enough to do it is, can I take the emotional charge of the thing? Or is it going to send me back to a bad place? But part of it is also, do I have the answers? Do I have enough information, to even help them? Like if I haven't been able to solve it myself, then there's probably things I don't know yet. So therefore I can't pass it on, and why would they pay me? But people aren't just paying for information. This is so important to get. So let me do the screen share and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I sat down one day and I just thought, this is my membership here. Okay. All right. So how much content should I give away for free? Most of it. Here's why. What people pay for beyond information. Now, I mean, do you actually need to give it all away? Not necessarily. I know George Kao has thoughts about this too, but the thing I want to focus on here is that people often get very stingy with their information, or they think I need to have so much information. It's either like I need to withhold it because I've got it, or I don't have enough. But the center of the whole thing becomes the information piece. And right, I'd say, yeah, people make a mistake on two sides of this. On one side, they jealously guard their ideas, saying, we should only go to my people who pay no free content. On the other side, there's this naive assumption that if we give it all away, then people will want to work with us. Neither side is useful. They seem like opposite points of view, but they're not opposites. They're opposanes. They're twins. They both rest on the idea that information is the thing, that the information is where the real value is. So what else do people pay for beyond information? There's some videos. Here we go. People pay for a sense of what are the fundamentals? What are the things I need to focus on? What's most important in working on this? People pay for repetition. Yeah. You ever notice, you think like, oh, why would somebody want to hear me talk about this again? Have you never read a book a second time? Have you ever never gone to a talk by the same person on the same topic again? You never gone to a concert with a band whose music you've heard a million times? So people often pay just like, I just want to hear it again. Like, Tad, I follow you on Instagram because I just need to keep hearing it. Yeah, so people pay for that, the repetition of the stuff, not just the information, the repetition of it. They pay for tools, sometimes physical tools, sometimes information. Also reminders, people pay for reminders. It's not a new idea, but it's like getting reminders and occasions to do things. Community. People pay a lot for this. Oh, I struggle with this thing and I feel so alone, but then I joined this online, membership, and I found all these people who shared my, struggle, and I didn't feel so alone. And that's a lot of why people come. People pay also for cheerleading. Sometimes we just need somebody to say, you're doing great, keep going, it's wonderful. People pay for guidance. This is so important, not just information, as in data, as in an article to read. People pay for, how does this translate to my life? A lot of us are very familiar with that feeling of, I I could spend 3 hours on YouTube learning this, or I could just get somebody to help me and we could probably do it in 5 minutes. I think I'll just pay for the 5 minutes. People pay for occasion. I don't know if you know this, but these 5-day, 10-day meditation retreats, you could just do it at home for free. You could do a juice fast, like for free at home. You just buy the juice. You get a juicer, it's even cheaper in the end. Nobody stop you. It's not illegal or anything. You could just do it. You don't have to go somewhere. So why do we go? Because it's an occasion, right? It creates the space, the context for the thing to happen, and people pay for that. See what I'm saying? Do you think they can't fucking sit at home and do the work Byron Katie by themselves? They could. But the fact that there's, okay, this 5 days, I can go and be with a bunch of people, it gives the occasion. People pay for that. Structure, my God, people pay for structure. Yeah. The organization of knowledge, too. It's like, yes, there's a lot of information, but in this membership, it's better organized and I can find things easier. That's worth paying for. So I don't have to spend hours searching. People pay for examples, not just data and information, but like stories and examples they pay for. Demonstrations, they want to see, how do you do the work? They'll pay for a safe place to practice this stuff. Pay for feedback, not information, not data, but like, I just noticed you trying this thing. Here's what I see. So people pay for experiences, right? That are fun and unique and meaningful. They pay for, this is a big one. People pay for permission. Most of us, one of the reasons we pay people is for them to give us permission to do the thing we actually already know we want to do. And that's for sure your people will come to you with some of that. In their hearts, they already know, but they need somebody they trust to say, it's okay. You can do that. You can say no. It's okay to say no. Yeah. Time. People pay for that, which is part of why people go to retreats. And I'll just have time. And vision. People can need a lot of help clarifying what they want. People often are very unclear what they want. So you see what I'm saying? It's a huge list. Anyways, I'll send this article to you so you can share it up. But there's a lot of things people pay for that just are not the info. So when we think, am I ready? Often part of that question is, do I have enough information? And there's a lot of things people pay for that just isn't information. But then if we get hamstrung, like, but I don't have the full fix, I don't have all the answers laid out, you don't need it. Because that's actually mostly not what people are paying for.